sisterly duty, right? Yeah.
Kevin's in the bathroom.
Here, just why don't you take it?
No.
No,
I
it's
don't know how to look at it.
It's, oh, yeah.
Oh, he's back.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hello, everyone. This is what I do as a teacher too, actually. I just stand there silently and kind of look at everyone. Okay. All right, so my name is Jamie, and I'm Kristina's maid of honor. Probably mostly going to read, so I apologize, sort of. I'd like to start by saying that I normally don't stress very much if you know me, but Kristina will tell you that I've been pretty stressed about this day. Mostly I've been worried about having to walk in heels, but success. Thank you. I've also, as many of our friends have been joking about for years now, been pretty concerned about helping to keep Kristina calm today. But one thing I felt a lot more stressed about lately actually was just this speech. And when I realized a couple of weeks ago that I didn't know exactly what I was going to say, I did a lot of research. I also, like Bob, checked the internet. Not gonna lie. And then the next place I consulted was an old stack of cards, letters, and yearbooks to try to get a window back into childhood that I may have recently forgotten about. So, for example, I had forgotten that Kristina won Best Hair in 8th grade. I had also forgotten that we use the phrase hella tight in like every sentence. And I had also forgotten, which some of you may know, that Kristina also lived in England for a couple of years. And when I remembered that, I started to remember the only story I really know about England, which is that we were watching a videotape of, I guess just like from when they lived in England, and Thomas was being Thomas. And then they're on this tour, and Kristina's like, "Oh, I'm pretty sure that's my elementary school." And then Barbara Ann pops on camera, and she's like, "And here we are at Buckingham Palace." So Kristina doesn't remember that well either. One thing I haven't forgotten about since childhood, though, is that Kristina got picked on a lot. And in middle school, Kristina claimed she was always shoved down to the end of the table, even though she arrived to lunch first. In high school, she was always the first to fall asleep at sleepovers. And I'm pretty sure she still has some Skittles stuck in her ears from those sleepless nights. We picked on Kristina a lot, to be honest, but we really loved her a ton as well. It's funny actually looking back on how much we picked on her, because now, as Chrissy actually said last night, she's really the glue that kind of holds our group of friends together. No matter how little I call or text her, she always gets a hold of me and forces me to hang out with her. She organizes dinners and fun trips, even forgetting to check her own schedule for availability, like the time she scheduled our trip to Austin for the weekend of her high school's graduation. And since Kristina and Tim have gotten engaged, I've been receiving thank you notes for every single little thing that I've done. She's just a really appreciative friend. She's a really supportive friend. From coming to my sports events in high school to my weird adult band performances at this stage of my life, Kristina is never anything but supportive. And at the same time, she really kind of tells it to you straight. She doesn't tell you just what you want to hear, but she tells you whatever she thinks the truth is, and I really appreciate that. Kristina is also one of the funniest and strangest people that I know. We just have a really similar sense of humor. A while ago, it was actually really hard for me to think of like sense of humor stories to tell, because it feels very strange to me. But a long time ago, like, we used to talk a lot about those nose and mustache disguises that people wear. Like, we talked about it so often that we had to come up with a name for it, because we were constantly like, the nose and mustache, and we were like, that needs a name. Do you remember what we named it? A Kookachu. A Kookachu. She just gets like a kick out of the strangest things. And for example, the other day we were picking up her wedding dress, and we just walked by this yogurt shop called Yogan Fruz, and she was just like, Yogan Fruz. Like, just a funny word can crack her up. So I want to read a part of a card that Kristina wrote to me when we graduated from UCLA in 2006. She said, "Jamie, thanks for always thinking I'm funny. Well, not always, most of the time. Anyways, it's been a fun 2 years that I will never forget, except maybe when I'm old and gray. Thanks for putting up with my shenanigans. LOL, haha, that word is amazing. Can't wait for many more times with you, even if you don't want to be my maid of honor, because I'm a beeping, crazy stress ball in certain situations. She actually wrote beeping. That was not me beeping it, that was her. Something else that defined Kristina as a child was that she was extremely boy crazy. For as long as I can remember, Kristina has liked boys. From Zach Hansen to Nick Carter, she definitely had a type. As a child in elementary school and middle school, she would obsess over boys more than any girl I knew. She even had a scrapbook of my middle school boyfriend at the time. This wasn't always easy for her. There were growing pains involved, literally though, because she was a heck of a tall kid. There were feelings hurt and hearts broken. No matter what though, Kristina still liked boys. One more quick excerpt from a postcard in middle school. Kristina writes, "I heart Zach Hansen. P.S. Met a fine-ass guy. This time, I'm not kidding, he's a lifeguard." So, if it's not totally obvious, Kristina was pretty boy crazy. In my opinion, in fact, she liked boys until finally she met a man in Tim. I was there when Kristina and Tim first met at the Stadium Pub. I remember a couple things from that day. I just remember how immediately friendly Tim was and what a gentleman he was. The other thing that resonates in my mind is that Tim asked for either one of our phone numbers. And to this day, I'm pretty confident he wanted mine. But really, Tim is the man for Kristina in every way she's been searching for since we were little kids. Tim is athletic, like Derek Jeter and Alexei Nemoff. DJ Tags is musical, like Zach Hansen and Nick Carter. Tim is also kind and smart and just amazing, but more than all of those things, Tim balances Kristina out, keeps her calm, makes her laugh, and loves her like she needs to be loved. And Tim is just an all-around great guy who I just can't help but love. I do appreciate, though, that Tim has finally stopped kissing me on the lips, because that was getting kind of weird. Anyway,